We'll have a call to order with a roll. Director Bill Freibel.
Here.
Freibel. Here. Director Bob Lux here. Director Donna Macular.
Here.
Director Paul Chu is not here. Director Dale Walker.
Here.
Is here. We have a quorum. Very good. We'll start with the invocations and the pledges of allegiance. Heavenly Father, we come to you today as an assembled body. We humbly request that you bless our meeting, our community, and our nation. Help us to work diligently, always for the common good and in the best interest of those who we have been elected to represent. Guide us to be insightful and prudent in our intentions, visions, plans, deliberations, decisions, and their fulfillment. Work through us to provide a spirit of welcome to all in attendance, to engage in respectful and thoughtful dialogue and discussion with understanding, wisdom, and humility. Amen.
Amen.
If you wish, prior to reciting the pledges of allegiance, you may take an additional moment of silent prayer or reflection in the manner of your preference. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Do we have any comments from the public today? No. How about requests for adjustments? No. Good. Thank you, Jeannie. Okay, that brings us to the consent agenda, pages 1 through 18 in our meeting packets.
Just one question on page 17, Jeannie, the adjustment for tax year 2023.
What page?
17. 2023 tax roll. It was just an adjustment. Is that something they reappraised a little after the date? or something?
Probably, it was either adding a over 65 or an exemption or lower the, pages of 15. Which one is it?
It's collections for April 2025. Where it says in it's just a small job. I was just curious, the adjustment has been, 2023. Why would it go back that far?
Bill, I'm lost. I don't see where you're looking.
Page 7.
Page 17,
Oh, okay.
right here.
Oh,
Yeah, the lower part, in the middle,
Okay.
227.86.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just curious why it goes back in time that far.
Right here.
I'm not sure. We can go back 5 years.
They can go back 5 years. Okay.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm
You're
good.
welcome.
Okay. Additional questions? Receive a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to agenda item number 9. Mr. Meeks is here. There he is. Hello, Chris. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Don't have anything to add to the report, but before any questions y'all have, I want to turn it over to Justin for an introduction real quick.
Good afternoon, y'all. Justin Saw, project manager with Technical Services, working with Dan and Connie. If you know, I just wanted to introduce one of our new engineers that started this week, Ethan Williams. He's joined us from LCRA as well as National Weather Service previously, and just got his engineering degree and joined us on Monday.
Congratulations.
Thanks for
Quite an accomplishment.
letting me introduce him. Look forward to working with y'all and probably see him around on a few
Well-
projects.
Glad you're here. Thanks. Okay, thank you, Justin. Chris,
Yeah, it's a
Business
pretty
as
normal
usual.
month. Yeah, no violations, nothing out of the ordinary. Some stuff broke.
Yeah, I didn't see anything of consequence, but
Just one question, Chris, on page 21, the lift pump number 3, it says it's waiting parts and it's been out of service since October last year. Any update?
Yeah, I'll let,
That pump should be returned to us mid next week.
Okay.
Parts come from overseas. It just takes a little while to get everything in, but the part has arrived and they should have it all assembled this week and returned to us next week.
Sounds good. Thank
so
you.
interesting, they don't fly those parts over. That has to go through the boat too. So,
Really?
yeah. Jacob was telling me
You
that
can
last.
get them flown over,
also
air freighted.
bunch of-
It's a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Because those parts are very heavy.
So
it
this
took a-
has not impeded any performance of the plant and then.
No, we have a rental in there now.
We have a rental.
Okay.
Good. No further questions? Dale, anything?
No, I appreciate it.
Donna?
Nope. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Chris. Okay, agenda item 10, status of Bear Branch, Panther Branch Research Forest Drive Drainage Improvement Project. General Manager Peterson.
Yeah, Shirley sent out a doodle invite, I guess last week to shore up the dates for the next stakeholder meeting. So it's the week of the 27th, after Memorial Day. So we'll get that confirmation out here soon. I think, believe Dale and Bob are the reps.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we'll get that out soon.
I replied.
Yep.
Doodle, I think it's a good system.
It is a good system.
It
helps
helps
a lot
trying
of-
to get bigger groups.
Yeah,
together.
it sure does, doesn't it?
Herding cats.
It really does. Nothing more to add to that? We just. Okay. Consider an act on the proposed change order for the Spring Creek drop structure. We discussed that last month. And unfortunately, we just didn't have an action item. So this is the action to the discussion that we had last month. And to my knowledge, there's no additional information to be brought forth, changing.
That's right. Other than we attached the actual change order on page 39. So you can see what we talked about last month. We just didn't have the agenda item there to document it, the approval. To refresh, the change order is in the amount of $256,300, and you're a 10% share of that. LUT 7 is a 90% share. So your share is about $25,630 for that change order. And that would address the new blowout and the additional damage that the storms have caused since the original engineering. And they're actually working and doing, things are looking really good. I just need a motion and approval.
Accept I would accept a motion to approve. I'll make that motion. Second,
I'll second.
and we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item 12, the attorney's report.
Yes, sir.
Sir Yates.
Legislative session is barrel into a close. We finish up 2 weeks from this past Monday.
Runaway train.
Yeah, it's been quite the session. A lot of infighting among the Republican Party that has really impacted the plummet of the legislature this session. Bills that are able to advance, bills that can advance. In the Senate, it's just been a very rough session. I was visiting with our lead lobbyist. He said, since doing this since '01, this is probably, I would view this as the worst session. So it's,
Is that, could you substitute the word unproductive or is it just contentious?
Um,
Both,
Both.
both.
both. Both.
I don't know how that impacts anything water related.
Well, I mean, it does. I mean, there's been a lot of freshman members this session, a lot of folks that don't understand special purpose districts. And we go through the re-education process every session with folks, but this time it's been more difficult than usual to be able to educate some of the newer members about what special districts are, why they're important, what have you. You know, there's a general kind of push against taxing jurisdictions, property taxing jurisdictions in the state. And water districts are kind of caught up in that as well. So just overall, I would say difficult session. We'll see what happens with how it shakes out at the end. My guess is the passage rate is going to be a fair amount lower than usual.
Yes.
It's already pretty low, like 15%. My guess is it'll be lower than that this session, which, could be okay. But we'll see how that shakes out and if there's a special session called by the governor. Anybody's guess right now whether that happens. So that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Okay, that brings us to agenda item 13, the general manager's report. General Manager Peterson.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon. We are continuing to run through the ditches, doing a ditch assessment, piping, storm sewer piping assessment, condition assessment across all of the woodlands. We are finding a few things that we're starting to tackle. There was, I think I mentioned last month, Miss 60 did have an improvement that we did have to do last month. So that's going to be coming through on Grovens. More to come on that. There is a new All Muds meeting that will be June 11th, and that will be to cover the AC waterline evaluation by HDR. So that's still on.
It's June 10th, Eric,
What did I say?
the 11th.
June 10th, excuse me. June 10th. Yes, and that'll be 5:30 Cross Street, same location as before. We are looking at you heard from Esther last month about the Bear Branch Dam and the additional work that's necessary. What we're talking about is putting together a stakeholder meeting, be like all MUDs, but for just the 5 stakeholder MUDs that are involved in that potential project, and putting together a 5 MUD meeting, if you will, in July to go over and hear from the engineering firm that did the recommendations and have the MUDs hear about that and then talk about the funding and where we're at with that.
This is on, I missed the first.
Bear Branch Dam.
Bear Branch Dam.
It was, some of the questions came up about the recommendation to redo the downstream structure and the thickness of that. And so we thought it'd be a good idea to just have a meeting with all the stakers involved with the engineer to kind of hear their perspective on it.
That's a pretty startling number that
Right.
was in what we discussed last month. We received 13.5 million.
And the request did go forward, but, as you all approved, and the letter of recommendation to Crystal's office did go
Yeah,
through.
it did good.
Well, at least it's been submitted.
Submitted.
Right. But there still needs to be, discussion on the engineering aspects of it. Because I know that was all kind of short notice at that point to get that recommendation in. So we're looking for July if we can get it in. Otherwise, we may look at October, but July is what we're shooting for right now. It just gets real heavy with budget approvals in August and September for SDRA and for WWA. So, and there's not a huge rush.
Right. We're not in a critical state.
Correct.
Okay.
So we can fit it in July, we will. Otherwise, we'll push it to October. Right? That is coming.
Okay.
Wanted to point out the GRP summary in your packet, and the trustee meeting summary. Couple highlights probably to point out were Lone Star and a member of the public It came in public comment to kind of try to discredit the
Where are you, Eric? Please.
page 59.
Oh, yeah.
Is where the summary starts.
Mhm.
So member of public and Sarah, the general manager for Lone Star, came to discredit the geologist on the new committee member who was presenting aquifer information as it related to his mud and his area's muds.
Mhm.
So they came to publicly try to discredit him. And then they came yesterday to do the same thing again with their hydrogeologist. So they're very critical of the information that's being put out there, which I thought was interesting. This summary is really summarizing the previous GRP meeting. It just so happens the way the dates fall, the next GRP meeting was yesterday. So I don't have a full-blown summary on that, but I can just tell you overall, there was pretty lengthy discussion from Lone Star trying to combat what committee member Slotnick presented last month. And then there was maybe an indication of some togetherness on the board, but all 6 members did agree on some conceptual things to look at ways to increase utilization and find other users. So I don't think that's never occurred probably. And there was even a joke made about it. I think that, wow, we all agree on something. So I don't know if that's fingers crossed or we'll see, but I think that was pretty much the highlights from yesterday at the GRP committee.
Was the dissension or the discussion between the hydrogeologist and geologist, was there a simple bone of contention, or is it too broad to go into now?
I'll just say that they said, well, since you're not a hydrogeologist, you don't matter.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I mean, that's,
Even though he had his own well data.
yeah, and the real comical thing is the previous month, Lone Star had used his slides in their presentation and then discredited him this month.
The infrastructure shortcoming or something, wasn't that, how was it described?
The aquifer decline, the prescribed aquifer decline is an infrastructure problem for the municipalities or the well owners, not an aquifer issue.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's that. We have quite a few articles in the report, and I did want to also mention the general manager's report. As you can see, we'll continue to fine tune it, but we wanted to put more and more. As you can see, it's pretty robust.
My compliments to you. Well, it is very comprehensive.
Yeah, so
Excellent format, easy to read.
continue to fine tune it as we go. I think with that, I'll take it to John for the communications.
Noon, page 52, so communications report. We're in the last month of the second quarter with our focus on water quality. In June through August, we'll be focusing more heavily on water conservation. So that'll be reflected in the materials you see. The community working group, that conduit to the community for the water renewal campaign. They had their 4th meeting on May 13th at wastewater treatment facility number 1. They toured the facility, met before and after that tour. Eric presented just a high level overview of the 4 alternatives for that facility for renewal. Now they will meet again next. Their 5th meeting will be on July 1. Corolla will be there to provide some of their findings to date as well. So they're getting a little more in depth now with some of the information on that project in particular. I'm excited to note that we have started our production of some videos. So we have a series of videos being planned. The first 2 we should have finished this summer. They're 2 to 3 minutes a piece. They are, the first one is on telling our story, putting a face to the agency, who we are. And then the second one would be from source to tap, our detailing our water supply, how it gets to your home. And that has some nice animation as well. Also on the video front, we have now hired a part-time social media specialist. Her name is Stephanie Williams. And she's primarily helping us develop more content that is video and more graphic centric. So just helping us be more engaging and more with the times, honestly, particularly with the social media outlets. So that'll be a nice help to us. We got some examples of some of our current materials that are out there on the next couple of pages. And then finally on page 55, you have our outreach calendar. Does show me at Farmers Market this Saturday. I'm actually going to, that will not be happening. We have a new schedule. I'll be out there in June. So we're trying to get out there monthly, as well as attend other events. And with that, any questions?
Compliments to your efforts. You're getting our message out there. Tell your own story before someone else tells it for you, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to agenda item number 14. Consider an act on authorizing WWA to evaluate the MUD SFDUE wastewater allocations for the water reclamation facility number 1 service area. General Manager Peterson.
Yes, the trustees at their April meeting requested that a item be put on the agenda is to take a look at the SFDUEs as it relates to the design of the wastewater treatment plant number 1 that's being worked on. And so we've put that on each of the agendas. I think the question is 7 MGD that's being contemplated, is that the right number? And what goes into, the SFD calculations that were done at the 6th final. So we've actually, unrelated to this, we had been developing a new GIS tool that would be able to allow us to do this very thing. Although it wasn't intended, but it will perfectly work for this. To go into each parcel throughout the entire woodlands to identify, what's there, and then undeveloped tracts, look at what's contemplated and be able to kind of come up with an overall number. We've built it based on what was approved at the 6th and final, which is 2017. And then we will do a 2025 kind of snapshot to see where we are in terms of capacities or SFDUEs. And then this tool will allow us to kind of do that every year just to keep up with it. We built it to have a tool to be able to do future demand planning in the future, to know where we were, where we stood each year in, year out, as development kind of came to an end. But it'll work well for this. So need authorization and my understanding is subject to this, the Corello evaluation would be on hold until these numbers are confirmed. And I think it'll probably take likely probably about 2 months to finish it.
Something that I learned along this route is using the 6th and final as a baseline. And that was approved by the Board of Trustees as well as all of the MUDs which was what, 10 years ago or something like that?
17.
So it's just it's a baseline that had been approved and it had been validated and authorized, I guess. So
And well, the bigger thing, and I wasn't here, but Brian will tell you, it set the ownership of what the MUDs own. And I mean, that's the key. And it also set forth kind of the change in, how new capacities would be looked at in the future. So that's also.
I think it's great that Kim, you and Eric put your shoulders together and got that you were ahead of the curveball. And then all of a sudden now you have a chance to utilize what work you'd put in earlier for your own knowledge and to make sure that things were accurate. And now you've got this living document. It's really, really good work. So do we need a motion to approve, I assume, the authorization? So I would make that motion to authorize WWA to evaluate the MUD SFDUE wastewater allocations for the water reclamation facility number 1 service area. I have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
So this is just to, are we spending more money then to evaluate the allocations?
Thankfully not. They were ahead of
Okay.
it. They were working
Yeah, we were able to develop that within.
proactively.
Within our GIS budget. that we have.
So use the new GIS tool to calculate the single family dwelling
Equivalents.
equivalents for 60.
Yeah, well, you're correct. Yeah. we'll
Yeah,
do it
so
for everybody. Yeah, we will break it out per district.
Questions? Dale?
Mhm.
Oh, come on, Dale, you could come up with one.
It's great use of GIS.
Very
It's
good.
very flexible.
Tom?
I'm
Okay.
fine now.
We have no further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Okay. Trustees report. General Manager Peterson. You're on a roll. I hate to take it
The
away.
main thing was really to ensure that this item was put on the agendas to confirm that the last item you just voted on was put on the agendas. That was the main, I think the main topic of the trustee meeting.
Mhm.
There was a little bit of debate here and there about this process, but if there was anything else.
I don't recall anything else either. So moving right along. No special closed. Okay, good. That brings us to agenda item 18, discuss matters for placement on future agendas. Thing come to mind, your General Manager Peterson? Mr. Yates? Yes, sir. Mr. Meeks?
Next one for the budget. So get ready to watch videos.
Okay. Okay. That brings us to adjournment.
It's a record.
Adjourn.